Okay, to reiterate, we're starting the meeting. We do not have a quorum. We are missing members, so we will just have a general discussion of the agenda and waive the approval of minutes. We'll review the expenditures, which consisted of the seasonal employment, the payment for the weed survey or the weed application, herbicide, the mussel survey, and then $200 for the survey map of the easement we needed down at the dam for a triangle piece of land that wasn't included in the original easement, the docking fees, and then the boat cost of $173.33. In terms of a patrol boat, has been pulled and stored, thanks to Dick and Sonny. By the way, by pure chance, I ran into Sonny at REI in West Hartford yesterday, and he does want to come back.
Good.
So that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Real nice having the operators here last time to give
Yes.
their views firsthand.
Yeah. No, I think that was helpful, and the suggestions that Jonathan had were good. John had were good for next time. Yeah. Thank you. In terms of the embankment repairs, we are all set to go. We're just waiting for the contractor to show up. I will, if I don't hear from him, I talked to him last week and told him we were ready to go. He's well aware that the lake starts to fill up again on the 23rd, but I will, if I don't hear from him in a day or so, I'll call him and just ask him where he's gonna be. Unfortunately, I'm away next week, so I was going to ask, and Dennis, you're away the 18th and 19th, right?
I am away from the 23rd till November 2nd.
Right, but I thought before that you were away for 2 days.
Oh, I'm away this weekend.
Oh, this weekend?
Friday, Saturday.
Okay, I misread your email. Okay. I might, if I hear from Tom Mocknick, I might ask you to, just wander by during construction to see how he's doing.
And
Okay.
they know they got a design. And
They got everything. They've got plans. They've got everything. Yeah.
is there any inspection or anything by?
No, it's not that I know of. I mean, the engineers okayed the design and we drew the plans and Deeps approved it. And, everything's gone. So.
I'm sure Kevin Job will be
Oh, I'm sure.
going on it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're all ready to go there. The tributary water sampling, thanks Joel for getting out there and doing that. I think you were copied on the email. Andrew's going to be back in the area somewhere between the 18th and the 25th. So we can hopefully hook up and you'll meet him. And, yeah.
Yeah, Dick and I did that. I think it should be a regular thing. I mean, if people agree that the samples are valuable.
Yeah.
It's fairly easy to do, assuming that they can test them. So.
Yeah. No, I think that'd
be great.
That would be good.
And when we did the day we did, because it was a day or two after a big rain, but the rain hadn't started again. So the previous rain had time to kind of soak in and bring anything that's coming
down. Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see what the results are. I don't know if you guys ever got around to the weed pulling, did you?
We didn't.
I didn't think so.
No. Are we still going to? Because I left one of the kayaks that Manisha was going to use. I left it in my front yard rather than in the back.
Oh.
Do we plan to do it?
I don't know. I think the weeds are slowly dying away, so I don't know. I think we're going to go through the same drill next year. We'll just pull them then.
Okay.
if we are out in the lake, and I'll try to remember, we should kind of look and see if there's anything that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't been out with the water drawn down yet, so I just haven't had a chance to get out.
I was out once, but I stayed away from the shore to avoid rocks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Have you been out?
No.
Oh, your boats are up.
We were out kayaking
Yeah.
this past weekend, but I don't, but the weeds are, where's the issue?
There were some spots that were identified by Pond and Lake that weren't thick enough to, or dense enough to apply herbicide. They suggested hand pulling.
Oh.
We pulled about half of them, or half the spots, and didn't get a chance to get back to the other ones.
By the way, I have those laminated things still.
Okay, well,
My
you can
house.
hold on to them.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, and, so, no, I think we're fine till next year unless, you happen to go by and you see something. Lake Drawdown. Dennis, first of all, thanks for coming and thanks for all your work you've done. I mean, it's been very important that Dennis is keeping deep up to date on what we're doing.
Yes, yes.
Hugely important.
Mhm.
And
Data.
data.
Yes.
I spell out the year, the day, the time, just so there's no ambiguity.
Yeah.
But we've been, so every day I record whether or not we're doing the drawdown or not. I'm doing it. I didn't send you a month last for
For the
For
rain.
September.
I didn't
Yeah.
send you the September stuff, but there
That's
was
all right.
a lot of activity. But we got the lake down, and the plan, and when I opened the sluice gate on the 16th, Kevin Job just happened to come by. We had a good discussion, and we agreed that the fish ladder would serve as once it was down, we'd use the fish ladder to just keep the lake down, and that worked gloriously. I've never seen daily readings for over a week that were the same
Yeah.
level. And then we had, on Monday, we had that inch of rain in 4 hours and that, but it was interesting. We had 1.3 inches of rain, and the lake came up 1.3 inches.
Weird.
But, I measured that,
Yeah.
within 2 hours of it stopping to rain.
Well, the land's awfully dry, so it's probably
So,
absorbed.
And then I immediately opened the sluice gate. So Kevin sent out a little, after I notified that I'd opened the sluice gate,
Mhm.
Kevin Job sent out a little
Snippet.
snippy
Yeah. Some
thing.
do another board.
And I was able to call him on it, and that in the fish ladder, they have these boards that are about 4.5 inches, and they can take them out to control the flow. The top board has like a V in the middle, so that there's more. And so when I opened the sluice gate originally on the 16th, I went over and looked what there was, and Kevin was there, and he had put that board in, and he had taken a wooden wedge in the slot to hold everything in.
Mhm.
And so every time I would go down to do something with the sluice gate, I would check. I'd go over and check, and that was always the way it was. Then for 8 days, I never had to go down till this rainstorm. I went down and looked, and there was no water going on the fish ladder. And the wedge was missing, and the board was flat all the way across. So But in order to get to those boards, you have to have the combination. He responded, luckily he responded to everybody on that email.
Yeah.
But it's, because I had, are we being recorded?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I had gone over and looked and, you know, it was all changed, so.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
anyway, he came and supposedly has put it back, so
Fixed it.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's very odd.
So, but it's, had to been somebody in his,
Yeah.
that did it, because it's really hard to get in there and change those boards.
Yeah.
You've got to stand on your head. Well, plus, first you got to have the combination, and you got to take this cable off, and then you got to lift these grates up. I mean, it's not a simple.
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing. You just don't walk by and do it.
So anyway, hopefully now the weather forecast for the next 10 days is minimal,
Yeah,
Precipitation,
under
yeah.
a tenth of an inch
yeah,
here and there. So I'm expecting the sluice gate is now closed and it should be good.
yep,
So
okay.
it's time to let the water come in.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's, Ash, go ahead.
I was gonna say, all the detailed emails just show how thoughtful and conscientious you've been
Mhm,
doing it.
mhm.
And nicely documented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I have to sleep on my responses over.
Yeah, I thought I noticed the fine hand of Jones editing, but, so any other questions for Dennis or? Okay, in terms of new business, there's, I got late notice, there is a fishing tournament on the 12th by the Bite organization from 7 to 3 p.m. on the 12th. You all got a text from Janelle that the events magazine, the fourth quarter edition is coming up. So if you have any concepts for her to include in that, it's only about I think it's like 250 words. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
but I think, I would assume she'd talk about the drawdown and the embankment repair, assuming that
Yeah,
happens by then.
yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
come up with anything else, that would be helpful.
One suggestion is, I think that comes out in December-ish or.
Yeah.
whatever. We should, if she could put something in there about, stay off the ice, or, you know, remember we had that drowning, somebody was walking on the ice?
We were playing hockey.
Yeah.
That's a couple of years ago now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had meant to put that in, but I just happened to,
All right.
Mhm.
well, if you're looking for
Reminder.
content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a good idea.
And that
Yeah.
would really just be a sentence, a reminder.
Yeah, just a
to
reminder to
stay off
be
the
careful, stay off the ice.
Right, right.
Thank you. We received an email from Katie, that supervisor's assistant, listing all these grants, potential grants. And so I duly forwarded that to Tony and asked her if she'd take a look and see if anything was applicable to us. Unfortunately, nothing really is.
Yeah, it doesn't, many things are for disadvantaged communities or brownfields or tribes. The one that was most promising had a closing date of, I think the application was due September 30th.
Yeah. So, but it's, but I appreciate you taking a look and running through all that. Which also made me think we need to think about whatever, if there are any other than what falls out of our water quality, if we need to do anything there ultimately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on what we see, I think that could be a need and less opportunity.
Yeah. One other open, or just a number I'm still waiting on. I think I mentioned last meeting that to do the hydrology study for the lake. I still need a quote from Nathan Jacobson to get that, and then go in front of the town and get that approved. But
The watershed, like,
yeah, well, more of how the level of the lake affects the level of the groundwater,
Mhm.
to see if people are getting, if the lake's causing people's basements to flood or not.
Mhm.
It's simplistically is how to put it.
And with their boundaries, their septic systems. which
Yes.
Get a lot of
Which is,
people's attention.
yeah, so that's sort of ongoing, and I hope to get a quote from him in the next week or so, and then
Okay.
we'll see where that goes from there.
But there's been no reports of well problems.
No, for the drawdown, no, I'm somewhat shocked.
I suspect, we had all that rain in the spring, and I think the water table, my theory is the water table has been up,
Yeah,
and based on the lake not falling as much, says, I'm theorizing that.
there's a lot of water coming in from the groundwater. That could well be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Yeah, no, I haven't heard, and, I've mentioned it. I talked to Dave Evers on Monday, and he hasn't had anything either,
Great.
so. No one is, Martha, the first select woman has not put forward anybody to replace Benicia.
Hmm.
So if anybody has a suggestion that I can give to Martha, that would be helpful.
Who was the fellow who came one day when he thought there was an opening?
Yeah,
Doctor?
he's from Old Lyme. Actually, I mentioned him. I emailed Martha to say that we had an opening, and reminded her that she had nominated this gentleman whose name I can't think of, Chris.
That's right, somebody didn't show.
Yes. Mentioned that she had nominated him once before, thinking she would contact him. I don't know what happened there. I'll follow up with Martha to see what, just where they are.
Because he seemed really interested and engaged in our discussion.
Yeah, no, he did
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know. I'll follow up. I just didn't, I hadn't yet. I sort of thought that was sort of in Martha's bailiwick, but
Mhm.
I'll see.
Ideally, people who are on the board live on the lake.
Yeah,
And he does not, but he is very active with the crew
yeah.
program.
Yep.
Close.
So, yeah, he's on the water a lot. So
He's
that
on the
helps.
water a
But
lot. Mhm.
if anybody had any other ideas, that would be good.
When's Manisha done?
Pardon?
When is Manisha officially off?
She's off now. She's resigned.
Oh, okay. I've been copying her on stuff.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that anymore. Yeah. Yeah. She, yeah, I don't know if I know they sold their house in like 3 days.
Well, but the sign is back up.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if it's, yeah, I've been meaning to text her.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh, that's too bad.
so I don't know if it fell through.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Does anybody have anything else?
I just had one question. A fellow was asking me about lake access to put in a 12-foot rowboat that he carries around in his back of his truck. And he mentioned a spot where there's an opening through chain link fence, and the road just goes right toward the water. Is that down here? And I'm forgetting where he said it was, but he said there didn't appear to be any parking there, or he wanted to know if there's a place where he could park. So,
The only, unless he's part of Rogers Lake West Shores Association,
yeah.
the only place you can put a boat in is the state boat ramp. The place he's talking about, there is no parking available. You can put a boat in there. It's right next to where Dennis lives. And I'd pull my boat in and out of there, but there is no place to park.
Yeah.
It's not a public facility. It's for people that live here, basically.
Mhm.
He lives in Old Lyme, but not on the lake.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, unless he lives, off of Rogers Lake Trail somewhere.
State boat launch only.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And that's the one,
And Grassy Hill.
on Grassy Hill Road. And yeah, there's tons of places to park there, and you can
Yeah.
back up, flop your boat in, and
Mhm.
okay.
it's a little shallow right now. Anything else?
So one day, somebody from West Shores was in my driveway, stopped because he knew I was involved with the RLA. And the complaint, this was in August, the complaint was, 3 people in his area, in the West Shores area, were swimming and they got a rash. And so I did an end run and I emailed Andrew McDonald at Yale
Yeah,
and asked him. And he says, his response was, the goose feces has a parasite in it. It burrows under your skin. And so it's Roger over here.
yeah,
And I showed him the email. He said, yep, that's where they were swimming.
yeah.
So,
I think I forwarded, when you emailed that to me, I think I forwarded that to everybody, didn't I?
I
No?
don't remember that.
anyway, I didn't mean to do an end run. The other thing.
Not at all.
But he was right there and I wanted to show that I was
Mm.
responding to him.
Mhm.
And the other thing I asked Andrew was, the lake seemed more tannic brownish this year. It wasn't as clear as it's been. And there was more slime. I had steps that go down into the water and that brown slime was worse this year. And so I asked him about it, and his response was, the next time he went out, they were going to do a nutrition study. I don't know if it's for fertilizer or something like that. It's something that's not part of his regular water quality.
Mhm.
But now that the lake is down, I mean, it's very clear.
Oh, yeah.
All that, they have some name, it's like tannic or that brownish.
Well, that's tannic acid.
And,
That's the tannins from the leaves that cause
and they
that.
kind of, but, the agricultural center said, oh, that's good because it filters the sunlight from going in and the weeds won't grow as much. So it was one of those Connecticut, things we went to.
Mhm.
But I was looking to get some input from Andrew, because we had all that rain in the spring. So did that wash a lot of fertilizer into the lake and cause it to grow? So, if you have any discussions with Andrew.
Okay.
just
Well, we'll be getting his report in January.
see what his thought was about it. And I'm trying to think if I mentioned something to Steve Johnson from SWCA when he was doing
Water quality.
the
Clams?
Mussel.
Yeah.
But if he responded, I don't remember.
Okay.
We had a good conversation about it.
Sorry, I thought I did forward that thing, the one you sent, the email you sent about the response from Andrew to the people at the Hartman Park Committee, because you know, I said, here's another, it was basically the message is, here's another thing about goose poop and getting rid of the geese.
Mhm.
I meant to send it to everybody, but I will forward it to you. I mean, that's the one thing I would like to get a groundswell to see, to do something about the geese.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, Sydney got a coyote now and 2 geese. And the geese are walking around.
Oh.
There's a
Yeah,
swan-
the swans are there. They're dry now, though. Yeah.
I mean, if we do want to enact a plan to cull the geese with proper regulations and so forth, what time of year would that be done?
Oh, in the spring when you, well,
March.
yeah,
In March, they start to nest, and then they're nesting sort of March to
April.
early May.
yeah. I mean, there's sort of two, there's the whole lot, there's the, addling of the eggs. That's
Right.
one, in terms of rounding them up, I would guess you could almost round them up anytime. It would be better before they bred.
Mhm.
But what was pointed out is that there's geese at like 3 different places in line, at, like at other ponds. So if you're going to euthanize them, you need to do all 3 spots, because
Oh,
otherwise
really?
they'll just come back. You know, if we took all the ones off of our lake here, most likely the 2 other groups would, you know, come back here and resettle.
Oh, you can get a permit to do that?
Yeah, last spring, we met with a guy from the Federal Wildlife Commission or group or whatever department out of Springfield. And they offer a service, you have to pay for it, but they would come down and herd up the geese, euthanize them, and donate the meat to,
Oh.
you know, people that need it.
Mhm.
And they would handle the PR to deal with it all as well. And unfortunately, just about that time, there was an article in the paper, another local town,
Bristol or
Bristol,
something. Mhm.
was proposing the same thing, and some, you know, young kid got up and was all worried about the geese, and basically the politicians weren't willing to take the heat for getting rid of the geese. And so we've, you know, tried to, I mean, in discussions with a lot of people, it's basically a public health issue for the exact reason you bring up.
Mhm.
And we've got to, but, you know, one, it affects the water quality, so we're involved, but it also affects, you know, the rowers, and it affects the people that use Haynes Park
Right.
and everybody else around here.
Mhm. Recreation.
But it's going to take a group of people organizations to sort of
And together.
band together to get this in front of the town to say, we should do this. I mean, the cost of it wasn't going to be significant at all. I mean, in the scheme of things.
Do we know who has jurisdiction over the other?
Oh, they're all town of Lyme,
Hold on.
Old Lyme. It's, I think there's a group that's around the senior center or a pond there, and then there's
Yeah.
a pond over behind the, there's an elementary school over by the firehouse off of 156.
Mhm.
There's another group there's a pond there, and there's geese in there.
Oh.
And so, but yeah, over the winter, maybe there's a way we can strategize to get some links
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if we can point to very specific things, like someone with a parasite out of the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, save those emails.
Yeah, I'll send them out. I'll copy you on what Dennis sent.
Mhm.
I always keep emails.
I
That's
do
my
too.
filing system.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on people's mind? Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
And as far as replacing these, you're gonna contact, the select woman?
Yes.
Okay.